All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 10:01. Thanks everybody for coming. Sort of a last look. Everybody got the budget. Barbara, do you want to just give us a quick wrap up of anything that, you know, any, not surprises, but anything that the updates? You don't have to go into a lot of detail because I'm sort of putting you on the spot here.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody's looking at the latest version, which was sent out yesterday afternoon. 3/11 should be what's, I think I have it coded so that it prints for you to know the date. Basically, I just tried to capture all the discussion that was happening in the Selectmen's meeting. So now all the salaries are in at 2%. There are no exceptions to that. The $7,000 was moved in the Park and Rec department, as you had discussed. Emergency management is flat funded. The library and the fire department are both at $100,000. The few changes that Donna had discussed during the meeting the other day have been implemented in the budget, and I think that's it.
Barbara, just for clarification, I'm looking at the 6:03 p.m. 3/10/21. Is that the accurate one?
No, there was one sent yesterday afternoon.
159.
Say that?
It says 159 actually on mine, the time. So that's
Yeah,
good.
it was yesterday afternoon.
Yep, 3:11.
3:11.
Chris, do you want us to screen share it?
Yeah, that's fine. You sent something on the 10th. I got something from someone else on the 11th. Barbara sent something 3/10/21, which was the update for the Board of Ed. Hold on, that may be it right there. Hang on. Sorry, guys, just catching up. Yeah, it's still saying 3/10/557. Interesting. Yeah, I don't have that, so I guess if we could screen share that, that would be. Thank you.
Are you gonna, okay. I did take the liberty of putting in the Board of Ed numbers because I had them.
Yeah.
Even though the Board of Ed hasn't presented yet, and I actually got notification this morning that the region budget is actually a little bit lower, so this number is now different by $9,600 less for the total.
Okay. I remember seeing this on my phone, so somehow I got to my phone and not to my laptop. So
Right.
I did see 183,546 as our final increase.
Yeah, 4.7 is the Board of Selectmen budget increase,
Yep.
183,546.
Yep, I see that. Thank you.
And then debt services, what it is, the transfer to capital, you guys have already voted on. So
Yep.
just the transfer to the dog fund and the transfer to Scotticook. And then your bottom line of 4,088,696
Yep.
needs to be voted on.
Yep.
Do we traditionally vote on those things together or separately?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
It's not added up, so you might as well vote on it separately.
So just so we can keep this moving, I'll make a motion to recommend the total BOS budget as it reads in the document dated 3/11/155 p.m. to the Board of Finance.
I'll second that. Joyce, there were some cell phones that were not in the department. Sorry about my printer making noise.
Nope, that's been fixed.
Right, can we just outline that for the board so they
Well, it's in the Board of Selectmen. On, oh gee, mine is covered up. I can't read the line number. Aw. Well, anyway,
Which,
it's right here, 63, line 63. It's in the town clerk's line, which is on page 3.
Oh,
And my numbering is cut off on the version I'm looking at, so I can't even tell you what the, I mean, I can tell you it's 022501, but it's on page 3 for the town clerk. Then the next one would be Highway Department. And that is somewhere.
line 383,
031501.
page 6.
Yep. And then the last one I think is the, oh no, there's, did I get the town clerk one?
Yep, you said
Yeah,
that one.
all right, this is the last one is recreation, and that's 023501. All right, social service, recreation, did I get social service?
Yeah, except I think social services, it's not on, it's, oh, I may be,
It
sorry.
is, I added it,
Okay,
because Leah reached out to me yesterday.
yeah, I had the wrong.
And I actually had to go and take this entire budget and load it into my other software to make sure that that the formulas were working,
That's
because
a
I've made so many insertions.
good thing to make sure of.
I learned my lesson the hard way on that one.
Social services. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so these are for, I'm sorry. Joyce, Leslie, Leah, Rick. How many are there? 5? Or
Darlene, no,
Darlene.
6.
So there are 5 stipends that 3 of them have been in existence for a while, I guess, and then 2 are requests this year for reimbursements for their cell phone.
Right. It works out to $50 a month for 12 months.
Which it's, you know, it's not a big number. I do have a fundamental opinion about, as the person who is here to superintend the needs of the town, that the, you know, the positions aren't required to be 24/7 availability positions, and we just need to work out how to make sense of this for the public, and make sure that it's equitable and make sense for what the use is. And I just have trouble with, you know, paying, my cell phone bill is $51 a month. So it doesn't make sense to me to pay people's entire cell phone bills for, if they're not required, if they're not on call 24/7 employees. I'm not gonna fuss over it, the number, it's, is it 5 or 6, Barbara? So it's $3,000. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of, it's not a big ticket item, but I don't know, ethically, philosophically, I don't know if I think that it's something that we should be doing.
So I think that's something we can look at after we do the budget, and maybe what we do is in the job descriptions of a department or whomever, it will clearly identify if they get a town phone or reimbursement for town phone use, and figure out how to do that.
Mhm.
It makes perfect sense if indeed, you know, somebody needs a phone or needs access to a phone. I think we just have to parse it out to make sure that everybody understands how and why and how it's getting compensated.
Yep. Is there anything else?
The one question I had was just going back to the it's line 300, the computer services for the town hall. Joyce sent out, I believe, I saw a spreadsheet that said sort of a rotational spreadsheet of who was getting replaced when, which was very helpful. I just need to understand. It looked like they were broken down, and I don't have that in front of me, but it was broken down into, like, I'm making it up, there were like 3 or 4 people, computers that needed replacement cycling every year. So my question is the $40,000 this year for those computers not only the hardware of the 5 people or 4 different departments that need replacement, and the associated cloud work needed for it?
That 40,000, Chris, includes both hardware and software and support. It's all
Okay, thank you.
inclusive.
So thank you, Joyce. But to break it down, how many computers, hardware
I've
is
broken
actually?
town hall up so that I average 4 in every cycle.
Okay, that's what I thought. So,
I mean, I think there's one that might have 1 extra, but I try to keep it around 4.
Okay, so this 40,000 includes the purchase of 4 new computers, roughly.
Correct.
But the majority, clearly, that's not even going to be close to even.
No, the majority is
$10,000.
the support.
The support. Okay,
Yep.
Excellent. All right, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
And so other things that includes, Chris, are
Yep.
web hosting for the website. There are a couple of us who have Adobe Acrobat DC, so we can work with documents. That subscription, moving the Google Mail subscription is, you know, a couple $1,000s. There's a lot of money that goes into Yucca Tech providing their help desk. And
I got it. That answered my question. Thank you.
and very typical to, you know, it's actually on the low side of the percent to the total of what we're spending. John Russell asked to be heard this morning, so I'm going to give him a couple of minutes. I have to be off at 10:30, and if we go past 10:30, I will hand off the baton to Chris and Ed. But
Don't we have a motion on the floor, though?
we
do have a
do, and
motion on the
it's
floor.
budget related, so I'm including him in the in the discussion.
Okay.
John, if you can be your brief, succinct self, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. I do want to, I came with two topics, and I think I know how I'm going to be instructed here, but one of the topics was to update you regarding our funding request on paid staff. I'm not sure that my information for you would be appropriate to talk with you under this motion. The other topic, of course, is a moment to comment on the increase regarding our grant request. Do you want me to comment on both now?
If you can be brief, because we're in discussion about, approving this budget, and we're
Right.
really truly at the
Okay.
tail end. So you have like 2 minutes, I'll give you.
All right, regarding our grant, the increase in our grant request, this grant contains the increase in our grant request has nothing to do with any special projects or award dinners or any new initiatives. In fact, to reach a balanced budget for this year, we, for the first time, used our investment fund, pulling almost $30,000 from there. We used our rental account, and we continued to cut where we could to help replace the lost revenue from fundraisers and the increased expenses in some areas. Certainly working to hold the mill rate is a justifiable cause, and I'm willing to bet that grant recipients will certainly use the reason of a healthy municipal financial situation as a reason to increase their grants. However, in this case, the increase we are requesting is really just to keep paying the bills and bring in new members. And that's why we're hoping the fire department is in need of the full $20,000 increase in our grant request. That's what I wanted to say. Maybe at another time I could update you on the funding request for paid staff.
So, yeah, I think it's early for any changes in that funding request. I think it's early days. There's not quite enough data. But Chris, Ed, do you have any comments or feedback for John?
My first question is the funding issue with respect to the contract with the ambulance provider substantially different from what has been requested?
What has happened is that a moderately frequent responder, someone who took 4 to 5 shifts per week, has elected to move out of town, out of state soon, within the next week or two, to pursue a career, and that will initially increase the amount of paid staff we need to fill that position. And of course, we're taking what measures we can to help ameliorate that change. You were part of the idea of putting in a bit of a buffer for the initial funding, which was a great idea. We feel we're probably going to be good through July, but the 104,000 funding, we feel a little more concerned about whether we will hold that. And obviously that's down the road, but we do feel it's due diligence to keep you appraised that our buffer margins just got a little more slim.
Bonnie and I met for probably the better part of 2 hours over the weekend, crunching the initial numbers of the staffing, and she's agreed to generate a report that we talked about what it's going to look like, a 1-pager that will be part of my report on a monthly basis to the Board of Selectmen, so that we're aware of what's going on and how that trend line is marching along.
Excellent.
Well, and the town does have levers to sort of pull if and where we need to in the future. So appreciate the update, but am I to understand that what we've presented as the budget line for the contractors is still appropriate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do not construe this as a request for increase in that area.
It's just a heads up. Okay, I appreciate that.
A later time, I'd like to learn more about those levers as someone new to the position.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Chris, Ed, anything more? So we can take this vote.
No, not at this time.
I'll just, I think I think we should go on record as hearing not only, the fire department's re-request, if you will, on their line, and also take into consideration the library's request, and acknowledging that we are actually cutting them back from previous years. I want it to be clear to the Board of Finance, which is really what this is doing, is to say to them, we have growing grant lines that, while important and integral to the community, and the board of, at least I, and I'm sure you guys too, agree that they are integral and important to town. The Board of Finance has to understand that if they're going to ask us to hold the line, and we're holding back salaries, and we're holding back other expenditures, that they need to understand that these grant lines can't grow and grow and grow and grow, even though there's a need for it, clearly. But I think I personally am responding to the request by the Board of Finance to try to be as diligent as possible. And now it's, in my opinion, flat funding these guys at 100 each, to me, is now kicks the ball into their court for them to consider how they want to do it.
Right. That's a pretty good summary of all three of us.
I agree with you, Chris, 100% on that. And I think also at some point we need to look in during the year, need to look into the highway budget. And also at some point I would like to discuss with the board, I know, Gene, we're getting late, about freezing budget individual lines as we get closer to the end of the year, so people just don't start going out and spending money out of their budget without proving to the Board of Selectmen that they really need those items. And I think it was done once before, but I think it's something to think about in budget lines that have over like $5,000 in them, to freeze and have them come back to us before the end of the year, just to prove that they're just not spending it to stockpile it for next year or do stuff like that. So I'm ready to move ahead with the vote.
All those in favor?
Do you want to reread the?
The motion is, Joyce, you want to read that, what you have?
Sorry, it was to approve the Board of Selectmen budget number that was referenced in the document dated March 11th, 2021 at 1:55, and bring it to the Board of Finance.
And can you just add in the number if that's appropriate?
So the 4 million,
Barbara, would that be appropriate to put that?
Yes, it's
Yep.
$4,088,696.
will do.
Righty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
Motion to adjourn.
We should make a motion on the transfer. Barbara, you said the transfer to Scotticook, right?
And also the dog fund.
And the dog fund.
So you can do
So-
those together. It'd be 37,500.
And I'll make that motion. Joyce?
Second that.
Any discussion, Ed?
Nope.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I very much appreciate everybody letting me go attend this hearing that I need to go attend. And we'll
Excellent.
adjourn at 10:26.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joyce, for changing the meeting for me too.
No problem.